Hey, what's going on, guys? It's xJawz, and today I'm bringing you guys the domination on Overgrown. You guys requested I post, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, in my last video, I asked you guys at the very end. I said, "Hey, would you like to see a domination on Overgrown where I get X amount of kills?" I'm not going to let you guys know in case you didn't see that or you don't remember. Or would you like to see a tactical nuke fail on Overgrown where the host lags out? So you guys voted on it, and the domination on Overgrown won. I did go through all the comments, I counted. So here's the domination on Overgrown. Going to talk about some things today. One of the things requested that I do in my heart-to-heart video where I asked you guys what I could do to improve my videos, you guys said, well, at least two people said that I should talk about tips and tricks and tactics and all the stuff I normally talk about in my videos, but I should also at least reserve a small or a considerable spot in my video to talk about something that I genuinely would like to talk about, something my viewers have requested that I talk about, maybe something, just anything that would be a good subject that is not necessarily always game related. So I think I got a good commentary in store for you guys today, but let's start out by introducing the gameplay. Pretty much, I like to introduce the gameplay. So subscribers meet domination on Overgrown. I'm using a TAR 21 today with FMJ. My perk setup is Marathon, Stopping Power, and Ninja Pro. So instead of using Scavenger like I normally would on an assault rifle, I'm using Marathon today. And for two reasons, actually. I'm not needing Scavenger because I'm only hoping to get a 5-kill streak, because the 5-kill streak will get me to my Predator Missile. Predator Missile will get me to my Harrier, hopefully. And the Harrier will get me to the Ace 130, hopefully, again. And that depends on a couple things, and I will talk about that later in the video, and I'll let you guys know. So anyway, the TAR 21 with FMJ, I'm using that, one, because extra mags, and I've talked about this before only briefly, but it's not true for all guns, but some guns, when you're going for extended mags, if I had to name some examples, the TAR 21, Scar H, and the Intervention come to mind. I was trying to get extended mags on all those, and being able to shoot through like fucking 6 inches of concrete like it's butter is just an awesome feeling, and you kind of get used to it. And then when you're trying to shoot through 6 inches of concrete without FMJ, it becomes quite a difficult task. You can't really do it, so it gets annoying. So on this gun, I don't have extended mags yet, but even once I get extended mags, I'm not 100% sure that I'll use it. But anyway, enough about FMJ, enough about the TAR 21. My secondary right here is a Striker, but I don't think I'll be using that too much. Extended mags on that, you only need to get 400 kills with a gun, nothing to do with FMJ or anything like that. Whatever. So today, the thing I want to talk about that's gameplay related is paying attention to your teammates and the opposing teams. Now, this sounds very, very general, and I'm going to give you guys two specific examples that just come to mind right away. Maybe I'll think of some more as I go. But anyway, when you're playing in a game, the first one, probably the most important one that you should pay attention to, because it's the easiest one to deal with, is one, are your teammates shooting down the enemy's air support, and is the enemy shooting down your team's air support? Now, what this should let you know is, basically, it's just letting you know, are they a team that likes to use stingers? Like, are they going to be, like, team players and help out everybody by shooting down air support or not? And what I'm talking about here, sorry, I got to go back a minute. There's been a debate about whether or not the FAMAS or the M16 is better, whether the Intervention or the Bear 50 cal is better, and I think there's a few other ones, maybe like the MP5K or the UMP. And what I say to these people is, try them both out. See which one is more comfortable. See which one you're more comfortable with. See which one you just seem to do better with. Because on paper, sure, the Bear 50 cal is probably better. On paper, sure, like I'm pretty sure like the M16 is like a millisecond faster reload or something like that. It gets the 3 bullets out a millisecond faster, something like that. And so on paper, there's almost always going to be a better gun. But when they're so close like that, it comes down to preference a lot of the time. So that is definitely the case with the Intervention and the Baird and the M16 and the FAMAS. And I've said that before, but I've heard, and I'm not saying I'm the only one who said that, because what I actually want to say is that I've heard commentators give that same piece of advice for whether or not you should use a chopper gunner or an AC-130, and that's wrong. I'm just going to be blatant about it. I think that's wrong. Using the chopper gunner and the AC-130 should not just be about preference. I understand that some people have a difficult time using the AC-130. I know it kind of sounds ridiculous, but I've heard it might sound ridiculous. It might not. I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I've heard people tell me that they have a much more difficult time doing well with the AC-130. And I hopefully this commentary can sort this out. So anyway, if I had to give one piece of overall advice to start out, if you just join a lobby, you have no knowledge of who you're playing with or who you're playing against, use an AC-130 in ground war, use a chopper gunner in any 6 vs 6 game, and I guess a chopper gunner in 4 vs 4 if you're playing some team tactical. And that's just an overall piece of advice, because if you're playing a 4 vs 4 or a 6 vs 6, you're a lot less likely to run into people with Stinger missiles. But if you're playing a ground war, you're just more likely to run into people with Stingers, Javelins, AT4s, whatever, and people who will want to shoot down your air support. Not only because there's more people, but because they know that you can do a lot more damage with your air support if you're playing against 9 people. And right here, this little idiot just standing in the doorway. I mean, I wish that's one thing that they would change, that you could walk through your enemies. I'm sure there's a ton of ways they could, manufacture the game so that you couldn't abuse it, but, they're just lazy. Whatever. So I just decide to run around. So what you got to do if you want to know which 11 kill streak to use, because I do recommend everybody use an 11 kill streak, if not a 9 kill streak, the Pavlo. So if you join a room and you see that there's a ton of people shooting down air support on both your team and the other team, because you got to remember, the next game, chances are you're probably going to be playing with a mix of players that you just played against and that you played with. And if you see that your team is, if you see that everybody's shooting down air support, then you got to choose your AC-130, because that's got an extra 2 flares opposed to the chopper gunner, which only has 1 flare. So I think it's 3 flares for the AC-130, 1 for the chopper gunner. Don't crucify me if I'm wrong. I'm sure that's right. I know the AC-130 has more flares, and that just means that when they shoot, their Stinger missiles will be attracted by the flares, and they will not hit the AC-130. So that's one example. Pay attention to your teammates and see. Another thing that you can do, and this might sound way wrong. It might sound like no, that's not really going to help, or that's useless. But use blast shield, guys. If you see that there's a ton of people who are using the grenade launchers, their RPGs, their Danger Close Pro, just put on blast shield. You'd be surprised how much it helps. Because you're always going to be just out of their radius a lot of the time, and blast shield helps a lot. It's not going to make you bulletproof or impenetrable or just ridiculously, insanely safe, but it is going to help out a lot. So that's about all I could say, really. Pay attention to your teammates. Pay attention to the opposing teammates, or the opposing team, and it should help you out a lot. And one thing I want to talk about really quick, because I don't have that much time left in the commentary, is how I started YouTube, because this has been asked a lot, and I've only got about 2 minutes or a minute to talk about it, which is good because it's not the most interesting story ever. But I'll give you guys the rundown. In about mid-2008, I was playing Major League Gaming for Call of Duty 4. I was playing professionally, and that was my second ever first-person shooter. I played Halo 3 for about 2 weeks, but I just kind of got lucky. I kind of had a thing, I guess, for Call of Duty 4, and I was able to go pro in it. And in order to prove that you were winning, because you had other organized teams in PCL tournaments and PCOE tournaments, and don't worry if you don't know what those are, but you needed to record your games to prove that you won the game, or else the other team could claim that they won it. So I bought a Dazzle capture card, and fast forward all the way till about 2 or 3 months before Modern Warfare 2 came out, I started watching YouTube videos for montages, because Game Battles, the site where you play Major League Gaming tournaments, a lot of the time just went to hell. They just were just abusing the community with tournaments and whatnot, and it was just kind of dumb, so I quit. Or I said I'd take a break, and I watched some YouTube videos and said, hey, I could do this. I could do commentary, and that's what happened. I made commentaries, and here I am today. I just decided to never